Today's video is about Georgia, a country where east meets west, which nestles between the Black and Caspian Seas in the shadow of the Caucasus. You can check out my quick travel guide to Georgia in the link in the description, but in this video I'll tell you in more detail why you must visit Georgia. Number 1. The Chronicles of Georgia. The Chronicles of Georgia, also called History Memorial of Georgia, is in the capital Tbilisi. This is definitely one of Georgia's best kept secrets and is likened by the Georgians to Stonehenge. It's very close to the Tbilisi Reservoir, known to the locals as Tbilisi Sea. It would be a good idea to go for a dip, having walked up the hill and all the steps to see the chronicle. It was designed by a well-known Georgian artist, Khevsureti, and construction started in 1985 and never finished. The main ways to get there: take the metro to Germageli and then walk up the hill from there. Once you get to Germageli station, take the number 60 bus to the chronicle, after which there is only a 500-metre walk. Number 2. Khevsureti. In this region of eastern Georgia, inhabited by Kartvelians, and is situated along the northern and southern slants of the Great Caucasus Mountains, Khevsureti is crossed by the primary peak of the Greater Caucasus Range, separating the territory into two parts. Khevsureti is a great place to visit to go on many hikes over and around all the mountains. Khevsureti is also renowned for its medieval anthems and people music. Number 3. Gori Fortress. Gori is just 1.5 hours by marshruta from the capital, so you can easily take a road trip from Tbilisi to see it. Access to the Gori Fortress is free. There are other delights nearby, so you can always add a side excursion to Uplistsikhe. Gori is Georgia's 7th biggest city by population and is located between Tbilisi and Kutaisi, where it has been a significant waypoint for centuries on the east-west roads, such as the Silk Road. The name Gori comes from the Georgian word gora, signifying store or slope. In bygone times, Gori was a significant military fortification, with its fortress and unforgettable layered palace, which falls down the slopes on the northwestern side. It is from this city that Georgian soldiers endeavoured to repel a series of attacks from Mongols, Ottomans and Persians. Number 4. Katskhi Pillar. Georgia has a wide variety of exceptional sites, but the Katskhi Pillar is a highlight. It is a 40-metre high limestone monument called the Pillar of Life. Around the 4th century, this stone became a disengagement position for the stylites. The stylites are a strict gathering who had a fixation on sitting on the top of thin columns to come nearer to God. In order to travel from Tbilisi to Katskhi Pillar, take a marshruta from Didub station to Shioshvili. The ride takes around 3 hours and costs 6 Georgian lari. In Shioshvili, take a taxi to the Katskhi Pillar, which shouldn't cost much as it's just 20 kilometers away. From Kutaisi to Katskhi Pillar, take a marshruta from Kutaisi bus stop to Shioshvili. It costs around 6 Georgian lari and the drive takes around 90 minutes. Once in Shioshvili, you can catch a ride or take a taxi to the Katskhi Pillar. The public aren't able to climb the pillar, but you're able to explore the local area and view the pillar from many beautiful viewpoints. Number 5. Shatili. Shatili in Khevsureti is a baffling Middle Ages fortification town, encircled by tremendous green mountains, a landscape that will stun any explorer's imagination. Modern life appears not to have touched this district in Georgia yet. Local people work hard to satisfy their visitors, guaranteeing that they will leave happy and enjoy their visit. Shatili is around 140 kilometers north of Tbilisi. Since you need to cross the Datvijari Pass, you can take a minibus from Didub station. You can also hire a 4x4, but the road is very steep and dangerous, so keep in mind your safety first. Number 6. Martvili Canyons. Martvili is situated in the Samegrelo district and is 280 kilometers away from Tbilisi. The gulch, caverns and cascades were made by the Hebereti River, and you can appreciate the landscape and astonishing perspectives on the dull green ravine by going on a boat in the canyon. You can also book on tours to see both Martvili Canyons and Prometheus caves. You can go to the visitor centre at Martvili, where there is a 700-metre stone platform which you can walk down, followed by a 300-metre boat tour of the river. If you don't like overly touristy locations, this probably isn't the location for you, although it's still very impressive to visit. This will set adults back around 17 Georgian laris. A Kartsay is also nearby and is possible to do both in a single day if you plan it well. You can get on day tours for around 30 Georgian lari, which you will get to see both. It is possible to take a marshruta to the Martvili Canyons, but it will be hard to see both those locations in one day. If you like what you've seen so far, then make sure to like and subscribe, and in the comments below, tell me what video you want me to do next. Number 7. Tusheti. Tusheti is one of the most exciting districts in Georgia. It is situated in the upper east of Georgia on the northern inclines of the Great Caucasus Mountains. There is a single street that goes to the region over the tricky 2,900 metre high Abano Pass. It's a lovely mountain pass, but at the same time is considered one of the most dangerous roads on the planet. You need a 4x4 and nerves of steel to cross the path. However, it is unquestionably justified. The way to Tusheti is open between late May and early October, but it's worth contacting the guest houses ahead of your trip to make sure that they're not shutting down early due to the bad weather. The Tushetans these days go up during the summer to take part in traditional celebrations and give convenience to tourists. In the winter they live in the marsh towns like Alvani. The Omalo mountain pass is a solitary access street to Omalo, the biggest district town. It requires about 4 to 5 hours of driving from the swamp town of Alvani to Omalo, and the unpaved street has many steep ascensions and tight turns. It rises to around 3,000 metres over the 4 crevasses of Tusheti. The views along the pass are simply mind-blowing. You'll drive along waterways, pine woods and high glades, and you even may recognise a couple hawks on the way. In case you're driving yourself, most importantly, on the off chance you look on the Google Maps to see where Tusheti is, you won't find it. The place you need to look for is called Omalo. From that point you can arrive in many different towns, for example Dartlo and Diklo. It'll take you around 5 hours to arrive, however don't be in a rush. As I mentioned before, it's extremely dangerous. Number 8. Uplistsikhe. Uplistsikhe is situated in eastern Georgia, around 100 kilometers from Tbilisi. It was established around 1000 BC and was consistently occupied until the 13th century AD. At a certain point, Uplistsikhe even had a population of 20,000 people. The cavern city covered a region of practically 40,000 square meters and used to have a drugstore, a pastry shop, an amphitheatre and even a jail. On top of the entire complex is a congregation that was implicit in the 9th century. The beautiful structure stands out against the dark and calm caverns. The least expensive approach to get from Tbilisi to Uplistsikhe is by taking a shared taxi or marshruta from Dudub station to Gori. From there you take another marshruta to the nearby town of Khevsureti. You should haggle with your driver but always negotiate a price before getting in and he'll take you up to Uplistsikhe. Number 9. Ushguli. Situated in northwestern Georgia and located in the core of the Caucasus Mountains lies the memorable area Svaneti. The best way to arrive is by driving from Zugdidi to Mestia. Svaneti comprises of a few little towns located on the snow-covered mountains and encompassed by the fantastic landscapes of the high glades. Ushguli is Europe's highest settlement. Strolling around in these beautiful towns that are overwhelmed by tower houses gives you the impression that you're landed once more in the European Middle Ages. As mentioned before, this town is famous for being one of the most elevated occupied settlements in Europe, at 2,200 metres above sea level. Sadly, that also makes it the most touristic town in the zone, Mestia excluded. There are many different towns in the region that you can visit that is off the beaten path and is less touristic. You can go from Tbilisi to Zugdidi via train, and you can choose the night train, which will take 8 hours, or the day train, which will take 5.5. Tickets cost somewhere in the range of 16 Georgian lari and 21 Georgian lari. You can also take marshruta from Tbilisi to Zugdidi, which leaves every day, and then you can take a shared taxi, but the drivers know that the best way to get to Ushguli is from their taxis, so they will very likely overcharge you. Number 10. Vardzia. Vardzia is an outstanding cavernous religious community close to Aspinza in southern Georgia. It looks like it's off the film set of Lord of the Rings, even though it wasn't the home of dwarves, but numerous monks. It is rumoured that up to 2,000 monks used to live in this underground cluster that was populated in the 12th century under King Tamar's rule. It used to be covered up until an extreme tremor uncovered and demolished many of the caves. You can take a marshruta from Tbilisi to Attribution to Vardzia. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button so that you can watch more travel videos like this, and if you think we've missed out on any of Georgia's best kept secrets, make sure to comment below. Have any of you been to Georgia? If so, tell us about your experiences of Georgia. And if you have any suggestions as to what country you want us to do next, then comment below. Thanks for watching.